Stephen King has his fair share of creatures, madmen, and oddities that translate far from beyond his books into the film adaptations. And today I want to talk about one that genuinely disturbs my mind. Welcome to the video, yo! Drip Fed Dread. Give it a thumber, subscribe. From the infamous Zelda of Pet Sematary all the way down to Kurt Barlow, the vampiric monster in Salem's Lot, Stephen King knows how to craft a genuinely bone-chilling character, but I think I found the most disturbing one. Hear me out. And the reason this one is particularly more disturbing to me is because I went into watching this movie not really knowing much about it and not knowing about the lore behind the Moonlight Man. Gerald's Game is a complex and deeply disturbing story from the master of horror king himself. It focuses on a couple, Jesse and Gerald, who go out to a secluded cabin in the middle of Maine to have some downtime, retreat, and potentially spice up their relationship a little bit more. So for this video, I'm referencing the movie, but after doing some research, the book is almost identical in plot in terms of what I'm talking about. Jesse and Gerald, they're in the room about to get intimate and have a good time when he decides to switch things up, get a little zesty, and handcuff her to the bed. She doesn't take too kindly to this and kind of panics. She loves her husband, she's been with him a long time, but as they're about to begin, she kind of panics and kicks at him, causing Gerald to fall back and not only have a heart attack, but a fatal heart attack, killing him, leaving her stuck and secluded to this bed, handcuffed in the middle of nowhere. So this peaceful retreat turns into a fight for survival. From here, Jessie is stuck in the bed with no help, no food, and even worse, her own fears and memories. And I want to bring up the Moonlight Man, the star attraction to this video. The reason he is so scary is because of the twist that is involved within him. So if you're not familiar with the character, he is such a effectively genius and creepy character for two reasons. The first is the disturbing randomness in which he comes. After suffering from dehydration and paranoia and hallucinations, Jessie is confined into this bed. She is starting to really panic and question if she's gonna live or die in this bed. So she has some nightmares, and that's when she wakes up and sees this tall, gaunt, shadowy figure staring back at her, holding out a box of trinkets that seems to be made of human bone. Riddled with dehydration and hallucinations, she starts to panic and then realizes that it's all just a trick from her imagination. And he comes back frequently to torment her. She gives him the name Space Cowboy. She looks this shadowy creature right in the eye and says, "You're not real, you're made of moonlight." You're not real. Causing the creature to resist and not attack her, which she assumed because she created the character in her mind. She also had a strong gut feeling that this character might be her body's way of tricking her into thinking it's the Grim Reaper. She doesn't have that much time left, rotting away in this bed, and she's gonna die. So this creature, this monster she made up in her head, gives her the motivation to fight back and try to get out of this bed before it's too late. The Moonlight Man leaves her untouched and left to think about him dwelling outside. Very haunting imagery. And then, this isn't a Gerald's Game review, it's more focused on the character, so I'm going to tell you she gets out of the bed and finally escapes, but it's too late when she is hit with the task of taking down the Moonlight Man himself. Then she's all convinced, is this all a part of my hallucination? Am I fighting for survival? Am I dying? What's going on? Has she been strapped up and mentally tortured for so long that she's just fighting shadows? She's questioning whether or not she's still imagining this or if she just already went crazy. And throws her wedding ring at the Moonlight Man and gets into a car, drives away, and crashes. This is where the movie gets very haunting, in my opinion, with that M. Night Shyamalan plot twist, if you will. 6 months later, she gets a call to attend a court case for a serial killer named Raymond Andrew Yobert. He was a serial killer and necrophile, lurking around Maine, killing people, and he happened to be killing people in the same area where Jessie was previously tied up and in captivity. And the thing that genuinely chilled me to the bones when I first saw it is her interaction with Raymond himself, the Moonlight Man. He is this disturbingly deformed, hideous, supernatural creature almost in her mind's eye, but at the same time he's just a really disturbed man who was a killer and was pretty much stalking her. He's very monstrous, and as she looks at him, the part that got to me the most is he reacts mockingly towards her. He looks at her and smiles and kind of finds her amusing.
You're not real. You're not real. Officer! You're only made of moonlight.
It's very disturbing seeing that this idea that we thought was a created monster in her mind ended up being a real human killer that was pretty much stalking her and lurking around her and not killing her. And that's almost creepier than him killing her. Why was he so fascinated with her? Was he torturing her? Did he want to help her? Did he just like seeing her scared? It's just a brutal, disgusting idea. In the movie, she eventually faces her fear and pretty much cusses out the Moonlight Man, and she gets her validation. But when that movie ended, I straight up was so scared. I remember at the time, I was living in a little trailer out back of some family member's house, and I didn't want to fucking go to bed. Like, I was looking out the window, the moon was out, and I was like, the goddamn Moonlight Man's out to get me. And it's just brilliant writing, because whether or not you're familiar with this character or this movie, I went in not knowing much, and to find out that the Moonlight Man was real genuinely sent shivers down me spine, and I ain't a pirate. But yeah, that was the video. If you guys liked it, subscribe, give me a thumber. Also, I dropped a video right here talking about the lore and legend of Dr. Satan from House of a Thousand Corpses. That's doing pretty good, so if you're interested in that, go check it out. And if this video or that video gets 100 likes, either one, I'm gonna do an in-depth video on the character Tiny from House of a Thousand Corpses, because I'm a huge fan of that movie. I'm not milking it, I'm not trying to appease the algorithm. I was just surprised that a lot of people like that video as much as I like making it. So yeah, hit that ding-a-ling button harassing you, telling you, hey, it's me, I'm he. And I'm gonna say it one time for the one time and two times for the oath. Give me a hell yeah for horror.